Right, so second half of the video is looking at this beast. It's many years old, this now. It's the Trango 2 Mountaineering tent by Mountain Hardwear. The last time I used this tent was on the Pendle Hill Extreme Winter Wild Camp with Flysheet, when it kept us safe from absolutely horrendous weather. I haven't even had it out of the bag other than to wear it off since that, so I was slightly concerned that one of the poles had bent, so I'm going to have a little look now and just see whether that was the case. But I'm going to talk about the tent. I got this, I can't even remember, it must be about 15-20 years old, this tent. Absolutely rock solid. It stood up to some horrific conditions, and you know, you would expect it to, because it's a proper mountaineering tent. I'll show you how you pitch it. We'll have a little look and see if that pole's bent, and I'll talk you around some of the features of it. There's a much newer model now. It's had some alterations to, there's an external pole now which goes over the porch, which is a little bit easier to set up, but it's a great bit of kit. It weighs an absolute ton. It's not one for your lightweight wild camping, but I'm going to set it up and we're going to check out that pole on the front, which I recall thinking it had bent with some of those winds on Pendle Hill. For those of you that haven't seen that video, I'm going to put a card up there right now, so be sure to check it out. It was really good fun on the summit of Pendle Hill, 70+-mile-an-hour winds, drinking wine and eating cheese. Well, it was very surreal, put it that way. It was great, and this tent kept us safe, so I'll stop rambling on and I'll set it up. You certainly wouldn't miss it on the hill. It's got this garish orange colour, which is, of course, so you can see it in snow, blizzard, whiteout conditions. That's what it's designed for. Poles, pegs, Flysheet, and the inner. So there you go. That's the inner pegged out there. These poles, again, they're not lightweight, and they're not meant to be. Atlas Scandium XL bomb-proof poles. I'm gonna have a little look, just try and locate that bent section, and you put the poles over into these grommets, and then the inner clips to these poles. So if it's raining, it's a bit more difficult because it's obviously an inner first pitch tent, but in the environments where this is being used, it's freezing cold. It's not meant for wet climates. You're likely going to be high up in the mountains, and any precipitation falling on that is likely to be snow and ice. So the conditions it's designed for, it's not going to be getting soaking wet, but it's just something to bear in mind that you pitch it inner first. Let's get these poles assembled, and then we'll try and locate the bent section and see, in fact, if it is bent. Well, I'm pleased to report that I can't see any bend, so it must have just been, it was one of these sections here, and I think there's a very slight bend in them just over time, but yeah, no bends, that's good. So there's this treated thick polyester material, and you've got these plastic hooks, similar to the Solo in many respects, as to, you know, how you're clipping the tent onto the actual poles. But yeah, you'll see this take shape now, and it is a very strong geodesic structure. So let's get the poles in and get her up. Get struck by lightning. It's got these brass grommets, just locate into either one of them. Do not do this in stormy weather, as in thunderstorms, that is. So at this point, it helps. You can get the first clip on. Just leave that like that just for now. So you can see the structure now taking shape. It's like an exoskeleton for the inner. Geodesic. Got clips. Show you in a bit more detail in a minute. You just clip that. Try and work equally around the circumference of the tent. So there is the inner pitched correctly. You can see how strong it is. Imagine that structure. Look at the shapes. Look at where the poles sit on each other. It's just very, very supportive. Think of that dome at Eden. There's no messing around with this tent basically. It's an absolute bomb-proof shelter. This isn't going to collapse, it's not going to fail. It's a really strong bit of kit. But of course it is inner first. Like I say, it's looking in good nick. I haven't had it out since Pendle Hill, and there's not really a mark on it other than some bits of dirt which you can wipe off with just a cloth and some water. It's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to use this opportunity to just go get a damp cloth and just give it a bit of a clean. Right, so the next stage is to throw the fly sheet over the tent. This has got a load of clips on the inside. Clip them to the poles, tension it out, and we'll have a look inside. So the fly sheet clips, there's little loops on the peg and out points, clips to those sections. You just tighten that down, work your way around the tent, try and keep the tension equal. So that, folks, is it in a nutshell. Really bomb-proof tent, 20 plus years old this now. A little bit sad because I've noticed underneath the fabric, it's the tape on the seam tape has started to degrade. It's gone like sticky and waxy, and that's all starting to degrade basically. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect things in terms of waterproofing, and I know you can retape the seams yourself, but a little bit sad to see that. And the whole bottom of the fly sheet has gone quite sticky where that's happened. Maybe that's my fault for storing it in its bag for years, and it should have just been out strung over something, but it's just one of those things. I'm not going to do the guy lines just for this demonstration, get it up in the back garden, it's pointless, but I'll walk you around the tent and show you inside. I'm sure we'll be able to have a beer and a little chat inside. The base of the doors, we've got these clippers to make sure it doesn't blow open. Just trying to take this up. So it's the first time I've been in this since Pendle Hill. Who knows, there could be like a dead witch inside. There you go. There's your porch. That's what I mean about the it's It's like waxy stuff on the underside of the fly sheet. Gutted, but whatever. Anyway, here's the porch. It's not massive. You can imagine being holed up on the south col of Everest. And there we go. Nice and light and roomy. Oh! So yeah, you've got lots of points for webbing. You can string out gear lines just to keep your stuff drying away. Hang your socks and, I don't know, your dirty undies, and you want them to dry after a day on the hill. You've got your window. You can look out, check the weather conditions and decide whether to venture out, and that's obviously a nice bit of vent in there. Got a big door at the other side, and the seams on the fly, seams on the ground sheet are absolutely fine, but the seams on the fly sheet, you've all started to show you what I mean. Degrade. If you look at that there, almost looks sort of waxy, and there's bits of that just flaking away. Very sad. We've got lots of good memories in this tent, but the room, massively roomy. That's what I mean, look at that. It's all become sticky and waxy, a bit tacky to the touch. I mean, the material itself is pretty good. It might just be a case of, as it's all coming off, it's like, yeah, it might just be a case of retaping these seams. And this Velcro hooks onto there, and onto there. A nice little window in the front there. And that's your porch area for your cooking. Oh. Right everyone, you can see there's plenty of room in this tent. Imagine yourself, south col of Everest, storm blowing in and you hold up for days. You've got this, you're going to be comfortable, you know, you're safe in the knowledge that it's not going to blow down. Really strong tent, loads of room, window to look out at the weather, and it's nice and bright and airy, so you're not going to get too claustrophobic in here. Yeah, I've got loads of good memories inside this tent. Hopefully I'm still in shot here. So I'm a little bit sad that the fabric on the fly sheet, the tape started to come away, but I'm not going to throw it away. I couldn't bring myself to do that. So I'm probably going to have one last toast in this tent before it's probably retired for garden fun camps, or you know, where it's not going to be chucking it down with rain. If anyone's got any suggestions to help me save the tent, can I retape the seams? How do I get it off? Because it's like sticky glue. If there's any tent experts out there, I'm just a keen amateur, as I always say, but I'd like to be able to salvage it. So if anyone's got any tips, let me know. But anyway, we're going to embrace the opaque. We've got a Brewdog OG Hazy, a New England IPA. Got lots of comments on the Hilleberg Solo in a Storm video. Tell me what an IPA is. Thanks very much, but I do know what an IPA is. It was an IPA, which is this, a New England IPA. So it's been solved. It's a 7.2% of this one, and you know, we're in self-isolation, we're in lockdown. Touch wood, I've still got no symptoms, I'm still fit, well and healthy. I'm still going to work, so yeah, long may that continue. I thought I'd just share a beer with you, and like I say, my idea is every couple of days I'll get a new bit of kit and I'll come into the garden like a weirdo and talk to myself and film myself, fully grown adult, talking into a camera and discussing various outdoor bits of equipment. But the whole tent now, it's so fruity that again, it's just tropical. It's clean, crisp, refreshing. It's much more fruity than a standard IPA. It's got really sort of fruit notes to it. Tropical, lilt. It's just like alcoholic lilt. I use that phrase a lot because that's what it tastes like, but yeah. My favourite memories in this tent, I've had many. I got it many years back. It was the first true mountaineering tent I'd ever bought, and it was because I wanted to go camping in all weathers. God, I must have been about, I think it was around 17, 18 when I bought this, and I'm now 38, so it's 20 years old. So it's done well. The interior is really, really good. It's in great nick, but I've had some cracking camps in the Peak District with Matt. I remember going to this campsite once and they had their own llama, which was just wandering free in the campsite. That was very surreal. I remember sitting in this, drinking a box of Reds with Matt in the middle of winter, and just seeing this llama strutting about the campsite. That was a really good one. And then notably Pendle Hill with Walshy. I've left the card. This tent stood up to some horrific conditions. I remember again, we just sat in here drinking beer, eating cheese and ham, doing flaming ridiculous beer reviews, whilst this storm raged outside, and we were on a completely exposed top right on the plateau, and it really was horrendous, and this tent just shrugged it off. The poles were in great nick and they're not bent. And I think finally I brought one of my other tents, is a Van Gogh Equinox, and I got it brand new from Go Outdoors many years ago, and me and Walshy went to Sykeside. It was around February, and it was a brand new tent. I hadn't even opened the bag. I started pitching it, and there's like this wall of, it looked like mist coming down the valley, and it was snowy and icy, but it was blue sky when we were pitching the tent, and there's this big wall of like snow, just looked like a cloud heading down to the valley. And then when that hit, it was just like this squall that lasted for about 3 minutes. We dived into the tent, which was half pitched at the time, and it collapsed around us. It was a brand new tent, cost me about 200 quid, and one of the poles bent. It was nearly at a right angle, so I was in a right foul mood, but luckily I'd thrown this one in the boot as well, and we had this backup tent, and it enabled us to camp in some, again, horrific conditions. I remember in Sykeside, the guys behind the bar, when we went to pay, wouldn't take our money because they didn't think we'd be able to get a tent pitched up. Obviously it cost one tent. I got a replacement pole and I got the Van Gogh fixed, but this one, we got it pitched, and we were the only tent on the campsite, just because it's such a strong tent. So I've got loads of good memories, and as such I'm never going to throw this one away. So yeah, I'm going to sit and enjoy the rest of this beer. I might just read a book for a couple of hours, but I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope you're not going mad. I hope everyone's healthy, and everyone's loved ones are still healthy. And yeah, you know, we're just going to adapt. I'll be getting a piece of gear down from the loft on my days off and rambling on about it. I hope you find it interesting. Please do bear with me, because I can't go out wild camping, because I'm sticking to the measures that we've all been asked to. And doing our part to protect the NHS, staying at home and saving lives, as the government are quite rightly telling us all. So thanks very much for watching, stay safe, and I will see you on the next video when we will look at some more equipment. Take care everyone.